Good morning, everyone. I am Lyra and I will be your tour guide for today. Be prepared, sit back, and relax as we tour one of the famous tourist destinations in the Philippines and a city known for its cool climate, Baguio City. To start off, the Philippines is part of Asia and consists of 7,641 islands and islets that showcase magnificent beaches, lively and fashionable cities, as well as land and underwater wonderlands waiting to be discovered and explored. The Philippines is divided into three major islands, which are Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, with its capital city, Manila. Metro Manila is also the country's economic, political, and cultural capital. It is buzzing with life from the colorful roaring jeepneys up to the karaoke machines blasting various music in the streets. You can really say that it really is more fun in the Philippines. So starting from Metro Manila, our destination is approximately 252 kilometers away, which is Baguio City. Baguio City is dubbed as the City of Pines, the summer capital of the Philippines, and one of UNESCO's creative city. The city of Baguio is rich in culture because it is also known as a melting pot where different people from different places, thus having different cultures, live here either permanently or temporarily. The city does not only provide a center for education for its residents, but also to its neighboring provinces. As one of the famous tourist destinations in the Philippines, Baguio City provides numerous investments and business opportunities, especially for the locals. It is continuously developing and improving its tourism infrastructures to further entice tourists to visit the city, enjoy its cool climate, and what the different attractions have to offer. With that, are you curious why the city of Baguio was dubbed as one of the creative cities in the world? Do you want to know more about the people of Baguio and Baguio in general? Are you curious about the culture of the Cordillera? If yes, then I hope that after our tour, you'll be enlightened because I will present to you a tour package entitled A Glimpse of the Past. We will be touring around the different museums and galleries that showcase the culture and history of Baguio and the Cordillera as well as the creativity of its local artists. This tour includes the Museo Cordillera, the Baguio Museum, Emilio F. Aguinaldo Museum, SLU Museum of Igorot Cultures and Arts, the Ililica Artist Village, and the Tamawan Village. Let's start the tour, shall we? So our first museum is located just across the convention center. And inside the University of the Philippines, Baguio, which is the Museo Cordillera. There it is. So, the Museo Cordillera is an ethnographic museum that will help you get a deeper understanding of the indigenous tribes who live in the northern Luzon, as well as the history and culture of the Cordillera. It has a total of 3 floors full of artworks and artifacts from the Kalingas, Bontocs, and Ifugaos, among others. As you can see, the museum is adorned with different colorful woven textiles from the different provinces of the Cordillera. You'll also get to see statues wearing these colorful weaved traditional clothes of each tribe with its unique accessories. Each tribe uses a specific pattern, color, method of weaving, and dyeing process to differentiate itself from others. There are also various traditional huts with different structures and purposes, one of which is right in front of you, which is the alang from Kiangan Ifugao, and it is made from wood and rattan. Rice field owners from Ifugao would own an alang because this is where they store their harvested rice. They would also place this small statue inside, which is called the bulul, to not only serve as a guard but also to multiply the stored grains. It is believed that the bulul will bring bad luck to thieves who try to steal grains from the alang. Aside from that, the museum also houses a variety of artifacts such as different adornments, ceramics, basketry, different musical instruments, metal crafts, and of course, different artifacts that they use for different rituals. The museum also serves as a venue for different themes of exhibits and other activities. After roaming around the museum, there is also a souvenir shop where you can shop for different kinds of accessories, Cordillera books, and other souvenirs that would remind you of how rich the culture of Cordillera is. Moving on to our next museum, which is just near the Museo Cordillera. It is located just right in front of the Baguio City National High School, which is the Baguio Museum. So the Baguio Museum is a gallery dedicated to preserving the city's cultural heritage. Its architectural design, as you can see, is inspired by the traditional Ifugao homes, which are evident in the predominant use of wood and stone in the museum's facade alone. The Baguio Museum has a total of 4 floors, which showcases intricate dioramas, traditional artifacts, and other items that will give you ideas about the way of life of the different indigenous groups in the Cordillera. On the first floor is the NCAA Gallery, where various artworks from different artists are showcased, and these are actually changed monthly. This floor is also used as a venue for meetings, seminars, and workshops. Then moving on to the second floor is the Cordillera Gallery, which features unique artifacts ranging from wood carvings, accessories, baskets, brass and metal works, and others, as well as the traditional clothes of the 6 provinces of the Cordillera. Can anyone enumerate what are the 6 provinces of Cordillera? All right, so the provinces are first, which is the Benguet, dubbed as the salad bowl of the Philippines. Mountain Province, dubbed as the Weaver's Paradise. The Ifugao, dubbed as the land of the eighth world wonder. Kalinga, dubbed as the whitewater rafting capital of the north. Abra, which is dubbed as the Philippines' natural dye capital. And lastly is the Apayao, dubbed as the Cordillera's last frontier for nature's richness. Here in the second floor, you'll also get to see a diorama of an example of the Budong, where representatives of 2 opposing tribes meet to discuss and form a treaty to end tribal wars. May I just ask, my dear tourists, have any of you already had a chance to see a real-life mummy? Well, if it is one of the things you wanted to see, I am sure you'll be thrilled to find out that Baguio Museum houses a real-life mummy placed in a wooden coffin. But please be reminded that taking pictures of it is not allowed. You'll also see here the step-by-step process of the common mummification process used by the Cordillerans. The second floor of the Baguio Museum surely gives you a glimpse of the past way of living of the indigenous groups in the Cordillera. As we move up to the third floor, I guess, this floor provides a window to the past as it focuses on the historical development of Baguio City, shown through the photos and a scale model. The scale model, as you can see, shows the prominent establishments and attractions in the city, such as the Baguio City Municipal Hall, SM Baguio, Burnham Park, and others, which are surrounded by lush greenery and, of course, pine trees. You'll also see here important dates and people that contributed to the growth of the city of Baguio to be where it is today. Then, we are now on our last floor. This serves as a library and is planned to be developed as an online research facility. Fun fact, the collection of artifacts inside the museum came from years of donations and purchases, with the oldest artifacts dating back to 1947 to 1951. Moving on to our next museum. After learning about the culture and history of the Cordillera and Baguio City, let us indulge more in the history of the Philippines as we visit Emilio F. Aguinaldo Museum, located along Happy Glen Loop Road near the University of Baguio Laboratory Elementary School. So Emilio F. Aguinaldo Museum is actually an interactive history museum owned and managed by the descendants of former Philippine President Emilio Aguinaldo. Did you know that this museum houses the first ever Philippine flag? Yes, it does. A daughter of former President Emilio Aguinaldo built the museum in 1985 in the city of Pines to serve as a shelter for the first Philippine flag that was hoisted and waved by General Aguinaldo himself in Kawit, Cavite on June 12, 1898. 26 years later, the grandchildren of Cristina Aguinaldo Suntay, daughter of former President Aguinaldo, agreed to turn the facility into an interactive museum. It is now a tribute to the revolutionaries of different eras who had taken a significant role in fighting for the country's independence. According to Emilio Aguinaldo Mendoza Suntay III, the great-grandson of Cristina, if the people couldn't come to the flag, then at least they can bring it closer to the people. He also added that the reason why Baguio is the perfect place to preserve the Philippine flag is because of the weather, which is much cooler than in Manila City. As we enter, on the first floor, you'll be able to see some of Emilio Aguinaldo's personal belongings, such as his old piano, uniforms, and others. You'll also get to see the first presidential table surrounded by Aguinaldo's portraits, his family, and some significant historical photos. Then, as we go to the second floor, I hope you are excited to go down memory lane because we will be able to know more about the significant historical events leading to our country's independence from our colonizers. From this point, cellular phones are not allowed, so pictures aren't available or are limited. This tour is divided into several parts, and the first part focuses on the adventures of Ferdinand Magellan. Did you know that Lapu-Lapu is actually a place and not the actual name of the well-known nemesis of Ferdinand Magellan? His nemesis was actually King Caliph Pulaku of Lapu-Lapu. As it is an interactive museum, it is adorned with different colorful pictures, statues, dioramas, and others that depict stories about the Philippine history, which includes the unending hardships and several battles that our heroes and heroines have fought, like the Battle of Mactan, Battle of Pateros, Battle of Biak na Bato, and many more. You'll be able to hear background sounds which will make you feel like you are really in the past and also make the experience more interesting and memorable. As we reach the climax of this tour, we'll now walk through a small bridge to reach the diorama of the Philippine independence, which was held in Kawit, Cavite. Preserved in its original state, the same flag used in Kawit, Cavite is displayed In this dark room where lighting, humidity, and temperature are meticulously controlled to lengthen the life of the first Philippine flag, which is now 128 years old. The first Philippine flag is made of silk and cotton and was designed by Emilio Aguinaldo himself. The 8 rays of the sun represent the 8 provinces that joined the revolution against Spain, namely Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Pampanga, Morong or the modern-day province of Rizal, Laguna, Batangas, and lastly, Nueva Ecija. The three stars symbolizes the three major islands of the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Aside from the flag, there is also a real life or life-size paper-mache statue of Andres Bonifacio, the founder of the Katipunan and Aguinaldo's opponent for the leadership of the Philippine Revolution. Also, statues of national heroes such as Jose Rizal, Antonio Luna, Emilio Jacinto, Apolinario Mabini, and Gregorio del Pilar are all placed on an indoor balcony in the same room as the first Philippine flag. The goal of Emilio Aguinaldo Museum is to instill patriotism in everyone and appreciate the sacrifices and chivalry of our national heroes and heroines. Again, let us value our past and use it to shape our future. Moving on to our next museum. After the interesting facts we learned in the Emilio F. Aguinaldo Museum, let us now move on to our next attraction, which is also an ethnographic museum like the Museo Cordillera, located inside St. Louis University, which is the SLU Museum of Igorot Cultures and Arts. It was conceptualized in 1969 when anthropology was added to the curriculum of the College of Human Sciences. And with anthropology, a museum was inevitable. In 1970, Dr. Florentino H. Homedo, then the Dean of the College of Human Sciences, through the newly organized university-wide Department of Social Sciences, initiated the initial and voluntary collection of artifacts from the basic social sciences classes in the college and then joined in by those of other colleges. The response exceeded expectations and interest in the collection of artifacts gained momentum. Donated items were temporarily deposited in a corner in the outer office of the Dean of the College of Human Sciences at the Diego Silang building. The following year, the Student Council joined the campaign. The BBAC, which is a federation of students from the Cordillera cultural communities, after realizing the wisdom of preserving their cultural heritage, especially the artifacts that are fast disappearing, donated a big bulk of cultural artifacts. Not only ethnographic materials, but also historical documents and folk art items were collected. Students in the social sciences were encouraged to do research papers, ethnographic reports, term papers, and even theses on folk arts, folkways, beliefs, and lifestyles of different cultural communities. The output of this research endeavors was also added to the museum collection. The museum continues to interest and amuse students and other visitors within or outside of the region. Some Cordillera families who share a common concern for the collection and preservation of the cultures made pledges and donations of artifacts to the museum. The gaidan or the gold or stone crusher and other gold processing paraphernalia and the ukisan de cape or the coffee pillar were donated by the Waldo family from the Dalikno, Itogon, Benguet. The tilar or the Ilocos loom weaving and the dadapilan or the sugar cane presser from the Espiritu and Villanueva families respectively are from Tagudin, Ilocos Sur, and many others are donated. Today, the museum, guided by the vision, mission of the university and the Museum of Arts and Cultures, is gaining acclaim as an excellent center for the preservation and promotion of the indigenous people's culture and traditions through systematic collection and conservation, documentation, and research, and exhibition and promotion that will develop cultural sensitivity and appreciation of the indigenous traditions among its patrons, encourage interest in cultural and anthropological studies, and also provides facilities and services. As you enter the museum, you will be greeted by a collection of artifacts such as musical instruments, bags and accessories that vary in size, personal adornments, and status symbols, weaponry, clothes, and textiles that have different patterns and colors according to the province, as well as spirituality and ritual symbols that came from or are used by the different indigenous groups in the Cordillera, displayed in an enclosed glass. As we further walk inside, you will see various miniature models of different traditional huts in the different provinces, as well as the donations of different families from different provinces. You may also explore a special room dedicated to the artifacts and documents associated with the CICM missionaries, also known as the Congregation of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Here, you'll see various artifacts, one of which is the kulog as a Christian altar. It was originally a wooden storage bin traditionally used for the safekeeping of jars, rice, grains, and foodstuff. When the CICM missionaries, with their appreciation for the local culture and their initiatives toward the enculturation of the Christian gospel, intentionally repurposed this kulog as an altar, together with a smaller one as a matching tabernacle. Another collection in this room is a wooden carved retablo, which is a retablo of the Blessed Virgin Mary. The museum adopted the theme Unity in Cultural Diversity as a fitting theme to represent the diversity of cultures in the region in the hope of contributing to the subsequent development of the attitude of cultural sensitivity and tolerance among the students in particular and other visitors in general, guided by the belief that bridging between cultures becomes possible and meaningful only when the culture and traditions of people are objectively appreciated and understood by others. The museum is true to its commitment to serving the student community, researchers, tourists, excursionists, and other university visitors. Moving on to our next attraction. Our next attraction is located road and is near the University of Baguio. This is the Ililica Artist Village. It is a creation of film director and writer Eric Teguia, or more popularly known as Kimi. It is a place where art and food collide. It may not be your usual art establishment, however, it will surely pique your interest with its treehouse-like structure, because as you enter, it looks like a treehouse that has a few floors and paths or holes that would lead you to different places of the establishment and different food stalls. The place is made up mostly of recycled materials such as steel, tiles, and even a wall made of glass bottles. Who would have thought that putting up random recyclable materials can result in an aesthetically pleasing and artistic place? Am I right? Well, this is proof that with creativity, anything is possible. The Ililica Artist Village also has a flower shop, a small theater, and of course, several food stalls that would make you hungry and entice you using the aroma of the different appetizing dishes they serve. You may also opt to explore the village and appreciate its peculiar and unique displays and even participate in different events held regularly. We are now down to our last attraction, which is located at Minsao proper, the Tamawan village, with its name coming from the local word Tanawan, which means vantage point. This was conceived by the great minds of Mr. Chit Asignacion, national artist Ben Cabrera, solar artist Jordan Mangosan, attorney Nestor Mondok, Miss Anne Camdas Michael, and lastly Mr. Jackson Bryan III. It was conceptualized and brought to life to serve as a cultural space with strategically planned landscaping that provided a resemblance to traditional Cordillera villages whilst adapting to the Baguio terrain. The village was envisioned to provide a venue for art and cultural activities that would enhance appreciation of culture and history. For the past 2 decades, Tamawan Village has already featured artists from different parts of the Philippines and overseas through more than 200 art exhibits. Today, Tamawan continues to be a venue presenting masterpieces from both seasoned and budding artists. More than just being a home for many artists and their masterpieces, the village is also labeled by some as a living museum as it has managed to salvage authentic huts from Sagada and Kalinga. This offer has since enabled visitors to have a glimpse of and experience Cordilleran culture. The Tamawan village was founded by the Chanum Foundation Incorporated, where Mr. Jordan Mangosan is the president. The Tamawan village, or also known as the Garden in the Sky, has several paths or trails that visitors can follow. Going straight up the stairs on your left, you'll be able to see an example of a lamp that I mentioned earlier, which is a storage for grains. Then, going further up and at the end of the stairs, you'll be greeted by a beautiful pond with koi fish where you can make a wish. So, my dear tourists, are you up for a small hike or exercise? I hope you are, because this tour requires a lot of walking. But don't you worry, because you'll surely be one with nature and breathe fresh air, because as we traverse this trail, you will be surrounded by pine trees and different species of plants. We'll pass through some traditional huts, which are the Dunsuan and a spirit house before we reach View Deck 1, where you may take a short break while enjoying the view of the horizon and the Pinsao proper. As we go further up, we will now reach the View Deck 2, which provides a higher view and was formerly used as a picnic area for tourists. After taking a breather here, let us now traverse down to explore other parts of the village. Along the trail, you'll be able to encounter a huge dream catcher, which is believed to catch your bad dreams. Then, after a short walk, we'll now reach the gazebo, where your friends or family can eat snacks and rest for a while. After that, as we go down, this is where you'll see the various huts ranging from traditional to modern ones. You'll get to see the traditional huts, namely the Lukong hut, which is an upper-class Kalinga hut, and the Dukligan, which is an Ifugao hut, also known as the fertility hut, where a married couple resides after a year of inability to produce a child. There are also modern huts, one of which is the Agape hut, and for a more authentic experience, the Tamawan village actually also offers accommodation through reservations, both in its traditional and modern huts. In front of the Lukong, as you can see here, is the Dapay. The Dapay is a ceremonial platform ringed with stone seats and with a central fireplace among the Cordilleran cultures in the northern Philippines. It primarily serves as a venue for meetings and public forums between the Council of Elders. It is the social and religious and political center of a certain group of families within a village. The term itself is also used to refer to the indigenous process of decision-making by the elders or the Council of Elders themselves. The village also has its very own cafe, which is also dubbed as a gallery cafe, because you can enjoy scrumptious authentic Cordilleran dishes and coffee while admiring different paintings and artworks surrounding the cafe. They also serve the famous Benguet coffee. In front of the cafe is the Ugnayan Gallery, which showcases different paintings and artworks of local artists, and some of them are actually for sale. The Ugnayan Gallery often changes these paintings that follow a specific theme. For example, if it is a Women's Month, all of these paintings will be changed into paintings dedicated to women. The space in between the cafe and the Ugnayan Gallery is where ceremonies and performances of traditional dances are performed for the tourists during the weekends. Then, next to the cafe, you'll see a hut which is called the Bugnay Gallery, where you can go inside to see various paintings, installations, and solar paintings. Aside from its cafe, Tamawan Village also has its craft shop, showcasing different products such as Cordillera attire, which you may try, and woven products, brass accessories, and wood carved decorations, to name a few. The craft shop is a venue located within the village to help promote local products and to provide assistance to community-based businesses in the area. You may also opt for your very own portrait sketching in front of the craft shop. However, it is depending on the availability of the artists. Then, as we further go down, the final spot that we will visit here in Tamawan Village is the Village Gallery, which also often changes its theme as it gives opportunities to local artists to showcase all of their artworks and paintings that adhere to a specific theme. Tamawan Village is truly a home for artists while also preserving and serving as a platform to share the culture of the Cordillerans. Unfortunately, my dear tourists, this concludes our day tour. I hope you enjoyed touring the different museums and galleries that Baguio City has to offer. I also hope that this tour is a fruitful and very informational experience for everyone. Again, let us value and respect each other's past and culture to create a harmonious relationship with everyone. Thank you very much for your cooperation, and I hope to see you again here in the City of Pines.